Man, we talked, that motherfucker turned around, and he got in his set. And I was like, bro, leave that nigga alone, I'm sorry. And you know if a motherfucker know what he doing, that motherfucker walked up like he got his shit going, and it was 4 niggas bigger than him, and that motherfucker walked up on us, and I was like, yeah, never mind. Bro, come on,
he wanted too bad.
Yeah, he want to fight.
Like, if you want to fight,
yeah, if you want to fight, I ain't gonna fight if you want to fight.
Hold up, limitless, take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up.
Man, welcome to The Pivot. This is gonna be a great show because we got a guy who's made one of the biggest pivots, more than pretty much anybody who's been on our show. Obviously, we all know Channing, Fred, but we got Errol Spence, the champ.
What up?
You know, a lot of people think the pound for pound best. I want y'all to lock in, subscribe to The Pivot, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We want to keep giving you great shows, and so we love your support. I mean, let's get to it, man. We're in Dallas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're fighting at AT&T. That's gonna make it a bigger deal for people around here. You seem to be like Dallas's own. Yeah. But man, let's take it back before that. You in Dallas. Like, they play football here, bro.
Yeah.
Cedar Hill, DeSoto, all these schools. Man, how you end up being a boxer?
Football was my first love. I fell in love with the Cowboys. And then actually my dad got me into boxing probably like my 9th grade year. It was the summertime. You know, summertime you got a lot of idle time on your hands. He didn't want me hanging out with my friends, you know, doing a whole bunch of nothing. That's how you get in trouble. Hang with your friends, you bored, you know, y'all just start doing stuff. So he was like, I'm gonna take you to a boxing gym. And I was like, I already know how to box. Cause a lot of my friends used to be outside, like in the front yard, in the gloves and stuff, hang slap boxing, doing other different things. You know, you gotta get ready for the other people that might come to the neighborhood or whatever. Right. So we slap box, you know, things like that. And then my dad seen me, he was like, you know, you got a little something. And he was like, I'm gonna take you to the boxing gym just, you know, so you had something to do. A couple of my friends went with me, you know, so we went to a boxing gym, went to a couple. He seen one that he liked. We there for probably a couple weeks. A lot of my friends drop out. They're like, 'cause it's super hot. They gotta run in 3 miles. They gotta train in the sun, hot, no AC, none of that. So a lot of my friends left, and I was like, I wanted to hang out with them. 'Cause it's summertime. I'm like, man, I'm in the gym. Like, I want to go with them. And I was like, I don't want to box no more. And my dad was like, why you don't want to box? He was like, 'cause you're friends. I was like, nah, I just don't want to do it. I mean, that was the reason, 'cause of my friends. I just don't want to do it. He was like, nah. He was like, I'm not letting you quit this. 'Cause you quitting this, you'll quit anything as soon as it get hard. So he was like, you're going to stay in it. So he stayed in me, and I just shot out, man. This is where I'm at now.
When did you know? When did you know you could be Errol Spence? Like you knew you were gonna be like a worldwide name. When did you? At what point did you know that?
Probably like 3 years in. Yeah, like 2-3 years in. Like I started like watching it on YouTube and just binge watching it. Man, every fight came on, I'm tuning in, watching, and just falling in love with the sport. And with me, it wasn't just watching boxing. Like I was watching the feet sometimes. Like I watch a whole boxing match just the feet and see how they move, or see how a dude react when he get hit with a hard shot, and see how he react or how he maneuver when he get caught with a shot, or, you know, see the different combinations like the legends like Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns and all these dudes was throwing and things like that. And I would just fall in love with the craft of it, and just anything that I could research or I could look at, I was on it, and I just became a student of the game, man. Then I think like 3 years in, I actually beat the national champion. I already know Javante Starks.
I know his name. I remember the name.
I beat him, and I was like, oh yeah, it's on now. I'm like, it's on now.
Yeah, that type of passion has obviously landed you here. What type of pressures do you feel?
Man, it's a lot of pressure. It's pressure with, I say, friends, you know, especially family, you know, just everybody wanting something, everybody needing some, you know, just expectations. You know, everybody, especially coming out the Olympics, like,
Right.
you know, I am the best guy coming out of the Olympic team. Everybody saying that, you know, the fastest one to win a world title and things like that. So it was just so much pressure to, you know, to exceed what everybody was saying about me and, you know, everything that was in the newspaper and magazines and things like that. So for me, it was like exceeding those expectations. And I got to do it. I got to train. I got to run. So I was just 24/7. I was, you know, everything was boxing. Everything was boxing 24/7. So that was a lot of pressure. It was just pressure all around me from everybody, friends too.
You mentioned the pressure, but you know, hearing you talk about your dad, I think sometimes, you know, those are narratives in Black communities and for Black men that I think people have kind of salted the perception. You know,
Yeah.
so many times we have conversations with different people. Look, my father's here, you know, and you know he's been able to guide me. But I know something that's near and dear to you are your kids as well. You know,
Yeah.
we got to watch the All Access, and you bring your kids to the gym, and you want to keep them around you. Was it your upbringing and being close to your father that makes you like that with your kids?
Definitely, I think that's embedded in me from my dad. Just him always been around. Like even my friends, you know, a lot of my friends didn't have their dad around, so everybody call my dad Pops. Like all my friends, like, hey, Pops, Pops, like that's his name. Like, everybody call him Pops, and you know, he just, you know, always taught us the game. We'll be hanging out 13, 14, and he'll, you know, sit us out down, tell us about women and,
Right, yeah.
and what we were running into and things like that. I wish I'd listened. It got me out of a few situations, but he was just, you know, basically my confidant. Like even to this day, man, he's just a strong presence. Like sometimes when I'm hitting the bag or I'm sparring, I just glance over at him, and it's just natural. I want to look and see if he watching me or not. And I work harder, or I know if he got, you know, disprove on his face or he's not satisfied with something and things like that. And even though like sometimes he'll tell me something and he may agitate me and I'll be like, man, I don't care. But in my head, it's still messing with me. It's like, it's like, all right, the next day, tomorrow, I'm gonna do a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's just that presence of having a father figure, man, having somebody that, you know, that's like my Superman, you know, regardless, I don't care, you know, he always provided, he always took care of us, and, you know, he always in our best interest. He never told me anything or the wrong thing to do. So for me, it's always, I want to prove him right, I want to prove myself right, but I always want to satisfy him. Like even to this day, having 3 kids grown, everything else, you know, money, whatever, you know, I'm still aiming to satisfy him at the end of the day.
We talked about it a number of times, like us being successful athletes.
Yeah.
And then push, like how far did you know what I'm saying? Like, would you have been here if your dad didn't push you when you wanted to quit 9th grade boxing when it was too damn hot? Cause it's hot as fucking here right now. Hell, hot as fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't get the how far is too far when you know what it takes to succeed? You know what it takes to get to that level, like we all do. But then you have a kid and you don't like that mid ground of really pushing too hard or explaining to them what it takes to make it.
I think it's both. I know I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my dad. You know, I wouldn't be boxing. I wouldn't even be in Texas. You know what I'm saying? If it weren't for my dad. So, you know, but I think, you know, it's middle ground to it. You know, it's an even kill to everything. And with a lot of people, you know, they might overly push their son, and sometimes it might push them to greatness. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, you know, you can push your son away from the sport, or you can just push him away from everything. He just, you know, go crazy.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking.
Yeah, go crazy some boy. You know, my dad was a guy, you know, like he pushed me towards it, but he didn't just overly push me where I'm gonna resist from him, because he know what type of person I am. So he ain't gonna push too hard because I'm gonna have a little bit of pushback. So he would just push me and tell me why and explain to me why and things like that. Like even like with me choosing a manager, you know, Al Heyman, you know, he the one that got me with him. Even choosing my coach, Derrick James, he got me with him too. And he basically told me why I needed to work with them and things like that. And we're not going for, the short run. We going for the long run. This is long distance. We going for longevity. And, he basically guided me through my whole career. And, without him, I wouldn't be here. And that's what I'm trying to install into my kids. That's why I'm trying to be around my kids. It's always like someone older than them telling their kids, how training camp was, or, man, how this fight was, or, man, your dad was this in training camp or this and that. But with me, my kids gonna be able to tell the story because they've been in training camp with me. They be around me 24/7. They're around me while I'm eating in training camp, and oh, daddy gotta go run, or daddy gotta go do this, or they're around me when I'm running around the track, with me. So they're gonna be able to tell the story. They don't have to listen to somebody else who was there to tell the story. They can tell the story themselves.
Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing, though. Obviously, we all play ball, to have an opportunity to be as great as you are in the prime of your career, and your kids get to see it. Yeah. My son was a locker room baby. He stayed in the locker room. He was always there. He broke us down on Saturdays, for walkthroughs, and now I get to share those moments with him, and talk through those things. But when you're making that rise through the ranks, and it was extremely quick for you, and I think people started right away saying, okay, he's the one. He's going to be the next big thing. When you're knocking folks out, when you are showing that you're everything they believed you could be, was it hard, or how did you stay humble and continue to be hungry?
I stay humble. That's just my, my natural. That's just my, my natural personality. But I feel like everybody get led astray a little bit. It did get to a point where I was kind of wandering.
Right.
I was wandering off. I was wandering off. You get to that age, making all this money. You think you know everything. People want to hang out with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You that guy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I did wander off a little bit, got led astray a little bit. Started hanging out with other people, and, I ain't gonna lie, me and Adrian, Bron, everybody, we, kicking it tough, hanging out, having fun, and this and that. But you gotta realize, what's going on, and I was like, man, like, if I keep going this route, I'm gonna lose. Right. And for me, I always worked hard, though. I might party, have fun, do this and that, but I'm always gonna work hard in the gym and just, give them my all and, go all out. And I think that's what separated me from a lot of people, because I had the talent, but I had the skills too. And I had the discipline when it was time to get in the gym and work hard. But a lot of people don't realize that you gotta have discipline when you're not in training camp. That's the biggest factor. When you're not in training camp, having discipline, because you want to be basically not in tip-top shape, but you want to be in subway shape when you get in the gym when it's time for training camp. And for me, I wasn't in that type of shape. I probably get to like 180, 185, and I was fighting at 147. So me, I'd be running in the morning with a sauna suit and then putting on taking a hot bath, trying to lose weight, and running at night and going to the gym, trying to kill myself to make the weight.
Lose 40?
Yeah, lose like 40 pounds.
What happened? What happened that you started to kind of stray and wander like that, though? Somebody who had always been disciplined.
Bro, I answer that. I answer for you, bro. The money, because my first check was $588,000. When they gave me that was after taxes. That was paper check. That was go to the Wells Fargo, and the girl behind the glass.
She looked at the check, eyes big, huh?
She went and then she looked up at me and started smiling. she was bad too. I was like, yeah, that's me. But like, when was that moment? Like, the money changes things. Like, what was that first check that? You know what I'm saying? To answer your question, I think it was that first check. Am I wrong?
It wasn't necessarily the first check, but you start getting you start getting paid, because like I've been like going out games like that, but it wasn't to the level when it really the layoffs, because for me I was fighting, like when I first started I was fighting like 7-8 times a year. Like I stayed fighting, like even the amateurs I stayed fighting. But when you fighting 3 times a year, that's a long split. You know what I'm saying? I got 3-4 months to figure out what I'm gonna do. And like you said, with all this money, I got 3-4 months to figure out what I'm gonna do with all this money. So it's 3-4 months of doing nothing. Then it's 8-week training camp. Then it's be back to 3-4 months doing nothing. So it's like, what you gonna do for them 3-4 months? And for me, you know, I chose, you know, to hang out, have fun, you know, and do whatever I do. I mean, I wish that, now I ain't gonna say I wish, because I feel like everything happened for a reason. Right. I wish I would have just knew that, you know, it's a thin line between things, it's a balance with everything. Correct. You know, and I really didn't balance things out. I was just, you know, going over the top, and then when it's training camp, I lock it all the way in instead of just, okay, take it easy and then go in.
Was that morning on October the 10th, 2019, was that the one moment that opened your eyes on everything?
Yeah, because I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything probably 3 weeks, like after the crash, and then 3 weeks on, I don't remember nothing. I don't remember anything. Like everything was wiped out. I crashed and got flown 30 feet in the air and landed on solid concrete. So, you know, for me, yeah, it was a wake-up call, like, man, like, the most important thing, just gave me a perspective. It really made me sit down. Mm-hmm. It made me sit down and realize that, hey, man, like, you know, all the outside distractions, things like that is not important. What's important is, you know what I'm saying, family and, you know, people that's close to you and things like that. Because when it's over, that's all you got. You ain't going to have anybody else, nothing. So, you know, it made me put a lot of things in perspective and realize that, you know, I'm out here playing with basically borrowed time. Right. So.
At any point, did you think it was over?
A little bit I did. I mean, because I was like 190. Yeah. And then I came to the gym like probably a month and a half after my accident, and I hit in the bags and my shoulders were hurting, you know, tendons, hip, back, everything was hurting. And, you know, I had to go to the Cleveland Clinic to get checked out, you know, to make sure everything was good and things like that. But, you know, everything was hurting. I was like, man, I don't know if I can, you know, keep doing this. But, you know, they assured me that, you know, I could if I wanted to. It's just all about, you know, basically my willpower, my mind. Then I'll start watching a lot of Errol Thomas and things like that, and just, you know, getting pumped up about that and let that influence me and get in my mind and listen to rap music and things like that. I was listening to Errol Thomas and Les Brown and, you know, and just getting all them affirmations and things in my mind, and it was just pushing me to strive and keep going.
In this sport, I know in boxing, you have to be extremely resilient. You know, you got to be able to take a hit, knock down, get back up, keep it coming. So with that accident, do you feel like you can accomplish anything in this sport now, considering, you know, God spared you, your life is a blessing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like, really made me feel like nobody can stop me, because I feel like if I can be driving how fast they said I was driving, and I land on solid concrete, you know, getting thrown in the air, I feel like, you know, who can hurt me? Yeah. I feel like who can hurt me if concrete, you know, couldn't break anything in my body. So I feel like a man definitely can't break me. Yeah. So it just made me feel unstoppable, especially going through what I went through, you know, doing the whole process of getting back to it. And then, you know, coming straight out the gate and fighting a guy like Danny Garcia, you know, who's the ex-world champion, and, you know, in multiple weight classes and things like that, I was like, man, none of these dudes can beat me.
What happened that night? Like you hit on it, you said you don't remember afterwards. Them 3 months was.
What leads up to it?
What leads, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that pivotal moment in your life. Like, what happened that night? You was chilling with the boys. You jumped in a Ferrari. You hit it. Like,
I actually live in Field City. It's like a, you know, famous gas station with tacos. And I seen on a security camera like I'm eating tacos or whatever, sitting on my car chilling. And then I get in the car. My partner get in the car with me, and I'm like, "Where you going?" He's like, "Hey, I'm going home." He want me to take him home. I'm like, nah.
Too far, bro.
Yeah, you
grab
too
you
far.
Uber, bro.
Go. Yeah. So he get out the car. Thank God he get out the car. You know, he get out the car, and they said I just made that turn. Cause my high rise is like probably like 10 minutes away. Yeah. And they said I just made that turn, and then they don't know what happened. They just see my partner seen a whole bunch of smoke. And then they were driving on the same lane as me, so I thank God that they seen the smoke and stopped, because they would have ran me over if they'd have kept driving. So they was like, I seen the smoke and they just seen me just laying out.
You watched it on surveillance tape. You say you were just chilling.
Yeah, I was just chilling, eating tacos.
How long did it take you to actually watch the accident itself?
It took me a couple months.
What was that like?
It was hard at first to watch, and then, you know, I kept slowing it down just to see, you know, if I see myself.
Being ejected.
Yeah, being ejected or in the smoke or anything like that. But it was hard watching at first. It took me a while to watch it because I didn't want to watch it at first, and then, you know, I was like, I'm gonna watch it, and just watched it.
So now you have this sort of feeling of invincibility. No man can hurt you. You beat Danny Garcia, one of the best in the world. Watched on All Access. You said you did that because you wanted to show people that you was the same fighter you were before the accident. Then you probably get the opportunity of a lifetime. You're gonna get to fight Manny Pacquiao. And you have a detached retina. And from what I've read though, were you actually considering fighting with the detached retina?
I wasn't considering, I was trying to fight with the detached retina.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because he got swag. He said, me one eye is better than him with two eyes.
Yeah.
That can't be worth it.
It was heat of the moment. I've been training probably for like 10 weeks for that fight, and this the week of the fight, and then you telling me I can't fight? I'm like, man, I done lost all this weight. I'm training, I'm working hard, I'm 100% focused. You know, I got a dietitian now. I never had a dietitian in my life. You know, and now you saying that I can't fight because of a detached retina. I was like, what if, you know, I sign off whatever you need to sign off on, you know, make sure you're in the clear 100%, and you just let me fight this one time.
Just one time. That's
Just one time, you let me fight, even though it'll probably be the last time. I'm like, you just let me fight this one time, man, and you know, I go get the surgery. He was like, man, I'm gonna tell you, I can't do that. And if you do take this fight, it's more than likely you're gonna come out of that fight with one eye. And then, you know, at that time I wanted it, but, you know, now I look back at it and I'm like, nah, like, you know, that wasn't it. That wasn't the right thing to do.
At that time, was it coming from the accident and continuing to want to prove that you were the same fighter? Or was it a thing that you like, man, this Manny Pacquiao, it's a huge fight. It could be worth my eye to get into this fight?
It was just heat of the moment.
Right.
It was just heat of the moment. It was, you know, it was basically fight week. And, you know, I was ready to go. I really didn't care.
That thought of it. Like, do y'all think about that? Because playing ball, like, they always any time you play ball, you go out there, you can break your
Be
neck.
your last play.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Every play could be your last play.
Yeah.
But boxing, like, every time one of these big motherfuckers hit you, like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Do you think about that? Do boxers think about that?
Nah. I feel like most boxers shouldn't think like that. Or, you know, I feel like the top boxers don't think like that. They don't think he catch me, he gonna knock me out, or he gonna put me to sleep. No, that's like saying, you know, man, if he hit me, he gonna break my neck or something like that. So, you know, for me, it was never about that. It was just about, you know, going out there proving I'm the best fighter in the world, or proving I can beat that person. But I never thought a boxer was gonna knock me out if he catch me.
that thought of like anybody that walks up on me in the world, I could take their ass.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
You gotta feel that way to box.
You don't have to feel that way because a lot of, you know, boxers that don't feel that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot of boxers that fight real good, like fighting scary, but they fight. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
they fight good.
hey,
Yeah, they'll beat you.
defensive.
Yeah, they'll beat you. But I feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that way. It don't matter who it is. That's even, you know, it could be a dude 6'6". You know, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, mano a mano, I'm Superman.
Hey, that's what we were talking about though, because you said every time you fight a big person, like one of these big boxers, they can hit you.
Yeah.
This dude ain't big.
No.
And so, you know, I'm talking, like, you know, you out in the club, you know, you having a good time. This Errol Spence, this is off season, he probably like 175 in though. You know what I mean? He step on my shoe, I might feel some type of way.
Yeah, that's my new one.
And you know, like he said, he woke up a little bit, like a few days later. I'm probably wake up a few days later. You know what I'm saying? If I buck on it, you know what I'm saying? You know, now I know if somebody hit sidestep on the J's, oh nah, dog, it's good, man.
Good, big homie.
You want to eat a drink?
You good, big homie.
Yeah, you good, big homie.
By the time you step in the ring, April 16th, against Ugas, it would be 918 days since your last fight. How do you stay ready? How do you stay prepared? A lot of tape. What's involved in the process?
For me, it's staying in the gym. Yeah, it's been 918 days, but since I got cleared from my eye surgery, I was in the gym working. Like, even when I did have my eye surgery and I couldn't do nothing, because I didn't know a lot of things that you do involve your eye. Like, when you lift weights, push-ups, anything, you know, that's strain on your eye. So I had a bubble in my eye, so I couldn't do nothing. All I could do was walk. So basically, I just kept walking. I walked, like, some days I walk 8-10 miles. You know what I'm saying? Just making sure that I stay on it, because I was like, you know, this is the once in a life opportunity for me. I got another chance. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving my all this time. So I just stay walking, and I've been training every day, you know, with my coach, and just, you know, focus on the task at hand. It even got to the point now where, you know, it got to a point where I wasn't even watching boxing at all, like on YouTube, none of that. Like, it got to a point where I wasn't watching none of the fighters I used to watch, none of that. Like, now, I'm all the time I'm watching, you know, Terry Norris or Ray Leonard or Floyd or, you know, Chad Dawson, something like that. You know, I'm watching it now. So it got back to the point where, you know, I'm back studying boxing. I'm back, you know, making it, implementing it 24/7 into my, you know, regimen instead of sometimes or nah, I'm not gonna do it at all. So, you know, I feel like that's one of the main factors that it's embedded in me now all the way. So when it comes, it's not gonna be any ring rust, anything like that, because I've been in the gym and I've been working.
Who set the schedule? Derek?
Now, basically, I set the schedule up just how I feel. If we train at 12 and I don't feel like training at 12, we're gonna train at 2.
Okay.
Or we're gonna train at 3. You know, I feel like you should work off your body and how you feel. Like, I'm not gonna just overly push myself. Like, if I wanna run in the morning, I'll run in the morning. If I don't wanna run in the morning, I'll run at night, you know, so I go to, you know, how my body feels.
So you mentioned, you know, watching all of these great boxers, and one of those boxers was Floyd. And I listened to you earlier speak about your work in the gym, that even if you was hanging out or doing something, the work in the gym stayed pure. And we've got to hang around him. We had him on the show, you know, before, and listening to you talk, I kind of get that same type of feeling that no matter what's going on, when it comes to my business, right? Because you are a business. When it comes to my business, I'm always going to handle that and take care of that. Is that something you learned from Floyd or from people like Floyd? Is there any relationship there when you look at him that's someone you would love to be in the ring?
I mean, I've always been a hard worker, but, you know, just seeing, you know, his motto is hard work, dedication. As much as he may, you know, do other things, or you may see him with all these women in cars and things like that, you know, a lot of people forget that they do a workhorse. Anybody that talks to him be like, man, Floyd work hard. He one of the harder workers I ever seen. I feel like just being in his training camp, because I've never been around a professional boxing. And I had just turned professional. I was like 2-0 at the time. And I got invited to his training camp to spar with him and things like that. I think he was getting ready for Robert Guerrero. Just being there with him and just, you know, I'm just watching. I'm like a sponge. I'm soaking up everything, you know, just to bring it back home and implement it in my game, especially when I get to that top level. So this is my first time seeing how Floyd trained at a 12-round fight, and he's training like he dead broke, like he need a pair of drawers or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he training hard, and you know that's the most thing I got of him. That's what I respected out of it. It don't matter what was going on, he was gonna get his work in regardless, or he gonna get his work in before anything else that was going on.
And boxing Floyd at 2-0, because now you at 27-0.
Yeah.
But at 2-0, like when you got in there with Floyd, because Floyd, our boy, we was with him up last week when we was hanging out in Miami. Like when he started throwing, was you like, oh, like it was different, you know what I'm saying? Like this man 50-0, you know, like you 2-0, he 50-0. Like when he started throwing, were you like, well, damn, this shit different?
I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm like that for real. So it was like I was in the gym, I was chilling. But once I got in there, everybody started hitting on the mats. Like they call it the doghouse. So everybody hitting on the mats. So that just triggered like something in my head, like just a competitive instinct in my head. It was like, oh, it's on now. We went like 5-7 minutes, 1 round, things like that. We going at it. So I get out the ring. he look out the ring, he say, "You all right for a bitch?" And I ain't hear him at first. I say, "What?" He say, "You all right for a bitch?" I say, man, I say, what? I say, man, you gotta be messed up. I say, man, put your shit back on. I say, matter of fact, turn off the clock. I said, we go to somebody drop. And then we get in there and spar for like 8-9 more minutes. We get in there and spar, and then he was like, all right, that's enough. But I think I earned his respect at that time. I think I earned respect. He was like, all right, this kid ain't no pushover. Like, he don't care, you know, who I am. Because everybody in the gym was like, man, this is Floyd, man, chill. That's how he talk. Like, that's how he talk to y'all. He not about to talk to me like that. Like,
You made Champ tap out then.
huh?
Nah, he said, all right, that's enough. Let's get to it.
Nah, I ain't make a tap out. Nah, but I think I earned his respect, though.
That's love.
Like, he respects me. He like, yeah, like, he a dog. He like that for real.
So what's your mindset like? I mean, I saw something that talks about horsing, you know, your farm, and you saying it's therapeutic. As a matter of fact, I think you have a special horse, a white one, named Ferrari. How did that, you know, you got it on the anniversary of your accident, right?
Yeah, man, on my accident.
Like, talk about that a little bit.
And she white, too. My Ferrari's white. You know, I feel like, yeah, horses are therapeutic, I feel. And I did research on it, and you know, it states that they are therapeutic. A lot of people that, you know, go through traumatic experiences and things like that, ride horses and have farm animals and stuff just to cope with it. And, you know, coming straight out of my accident, like, I ain't never driven horses. I ain't never touched a chicken, goat, none of that. Like, no ranch. I'm a city boy, no ranch, none of that. And I was looking for something basically to get away from. I was trying to get away from, you know, the city life, you know, because I was in high rise. I'm right there in the middle of everything that's going on. So I was trying to get away from it. So I'm on Zillow looking at different places, and I see the ranch, and I tell my mom, like, that's what I want. Like, she like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. So I go out there, I get it. And then my friend he trained dogs. He already had horses, and he used to always tell me to get into the horse thing. Man, I'm not into no horse. I ain't never touched a horse. Like, I'm not messing with anything that's bigger than me. like, nah, man. Like, actually, I rode his horse. I went out in the pastures with the horses, me and the horse. It was just a different feeling. Like, I felt, you know what I'm saying, more open, and I was just more chill. You know, I was just thinking about different things, and, you know, I just fell in love with the horse, and then I ended up getting me a horse. Then I ended up getting me like 6 more horses, and now I got a horse now, but I don't know ride. His name Moon. You know, he do competition and things like that, and he works some bread doing his thing. So, you know, it's a dope feeling. I got chickens now that I hang out, you know, chill with the chickens, feed the chickens. Yeah, it helped me a lot.
It's a chicken. A horse. It's a bro. You have old McDonald. You old McDonald. You know what I'm saying? like, how did that help you? Like,
man, I can't even explain it. Just mentally, I guess, taking care of something and just, I really don't know, man. Yeah, I just can't even explain it.
It's therapeutic to wake up and give a chicken some goddamn corn.
I'm not even gonna say the chickens. It's the horse really, but I mean, it's just out there taking care of the chickens and taking care of the goats, and, you know, basically it gives me something to do with my time.
Yeah.
My kids gotta go to school, things like that, so I can't hang out with the kids 24/7. But having the horses, having things, the other things to take care of, and, you know, having to buy hay and doing this, and, you know, fixing stuff in the barn and running away the wild coyotes, and, you know, and the cows, and, you know, your horse just had a baby, and things like that. It gives me a lot of different things to do with my time instead of wake up in the morning, I got 4 or 5 months of doing nothing. What I'm gonna do today?
But you could have named the white one Ghost. You could have named it anything, but you named it Ferrari. It's a constant reminder.
Yeah.
Like, what was the thought into that?
I'm always gonna be reminded of the crash, and I wanna be reminded of the crash. Because I feel like it definitely was a lesson. You know, it's definitely a lesson, you know what I'm saying, for my kids and things like that. And it molded me into the man I am today. You know what I'm saying? It made me more, you know, so tired, it made me more chill. And I've been chill, but it made me more, you know, be with my family more and just realize that, you know, a lot of things that I thought was important, or even if I didn't think it was important, but I was still, you know, indulging in those things are not important as, you know, having the core strength and being, you know, with my family and boxing and things like that.
I gotta ask, man, because even being with Floyd, we talked about this with Floyd too, talking about sex before a fight.
Yeah.
Like how long? And these boys talking about something. If we talking to somebody, and they were talking about the whole week of the game, a week before the game, they wouldn't have no sex. I was hitting something the night before the game. If I give me a nap, bro, hit something, get a nap, I'm ready to go. Really, bro. I played a good amount of time and played well, but yeah, that whole thing. What's your regimen sex-wise? Because boxers are ridiculous with that. Y'all got structure.
We different, because football players, all that, y'all got timeouts.
Yeah.
Y'all got timeouts, halftime, all that, y'all got time to recoup. You know what I'm saying? With boxers, once you get in there, you in there. The only person that can stop the fight is the ref, your coach, or yourself, or your opponent beating on you. so it's different. So, I mean, that always been the motto, like, don't have sex before a fight and things like that.
But how far?
Like me, like this fight, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks.
You ain't hit nothing in a month?
Yeah, probably like, 5 months, yeah.
I beat my meat this morning. God damn, that's crazy. But you think it really means something, or is it just is it physical or psychological that you just ain't doing?
I mean, I feel like if it's psychological, then it's gonna transfer to physical. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes it had happened though. Like when I was an amateur, like it has happened before where like mentally or even sparring, like I did something, then like my leg was just gone. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do that again ever again. Cause man, like I said, it's too late. Ain't no time out. When that bell ring, man, so you wanna make sure everything is on point, because once you get in there, there's no timeouts at all. So if it is a chance, you're not trying to take that chance, because it ain't no going back. Ain't no rewind.
You get knocked out for hitting something, man. It ain't worth that.
Yeah. And I think that's what's crazy though. You mentioned there's no rewinding. We've had an opportunity to talk a lot about your story, but the guy you're fighting who took your place against Manny Pacquiao, Yordenis Ugas, he has a crazy story too. He's tried to defect from Cuba multiple times. He's been caught and he's been detained and those different things. So this is going to be two men who have had a ton of adversity to get to this point. But bruh, you fighting at Jerry's World, April 16th, Showtime. It's going to be stars all around. And everybody's coming to see you. I don't know a person that lives in Texas, period, who when you fight, I don't see some sort of post. I don't see something on their story. What is that going to be like for you? Getting to fight a dude that kind of stole a little bit of your glow, right? When you got injured, you're in your hometown with all those people to support you.
I mean, I feel like it's motivation for me. I feel like the Showtime thing, it showed me a lot too, because, what happened to him was a long time ago. And, he on there showing his watches and, he got the American dream now. So, is he still hungry as he used to be? I'm fresh off my accident, my eye injuries. If I pay that, I ain't give a Pacquiao. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more grit and hunger with mine, because I got the Pacquiao taken away from me. I got a lot of time taken away from me too off my injuries. And for me, it's about catching back up. So, I'm in a rush. So I'm totally focused and I'm hungry and I'm, dedicated.
You're back home, AT&T Stadium, in front of the family, the world, and everything's bigger in Texas. Your preparation, does that change knowing that you're gonna be at home? And how do you manage your adrenaline? Because if I'm at home, like I can get overly hyped. You don't want to gas out, right? So how does your preparation change, or does it change, and how do you manage that adrenaline?
That happened to a lot of boxers. A lot of boxers lose at home. I think because it's too much pressure. But for me, it's more motivation than anything. Like, I'm motivated. Like, when I'm making that ring entrance and I'm seeing family, close friends, people I ain't seen in a long time, everybody's there just to watch me fight. Everybody's wearing Saturday's best, just to see me fighting, their time, their money, dropping their kids off at the granny's house, just to watch me fight, that's motivating to me. I can't let these people down. I gotta show them and I gotta give them their money's worth, because they ordering this on pay-per-view. So for me, that's like, I'm about to show out.
You about to shut the city down.
I'm about to show out for real.
Wow.
We was, like I said, we was with Floyd, and I asked him the same question. I was like, when do you know when you in a match You feeling your dude out. Because he was explaining to us like, you feel the dudes out, whatever, see what they got, see what you're doing. Average, when do you know in 27 fights, when do you know I got this motherfucker?
When I hit him and he do something funny. Like,
What's so funny?
Like, it's just, I don't know, certain boxers, I can see like a certain body gesture or a certain uncomfortable movement when I touch you and you look a little uncomfortable. I'm like, oh yeah. Or if you hit me and it don't, like, I'm like, oh, I got him, or oh, he ain't even hitting like that, he in trouble. Like, I'm finna let something go. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I know I got him when either he touched me and I'm like, oh, nah. Or if he throws something, I see it, or he looking, or his body gestures, he all startled and kind of shook a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, he in trouble now. Wait till I catch him.
Did that take a round, 3 rounds? Like when is at what point in the fight is it? Like, do you know? Cause it's crazy. Like I'm a street fighter because I'm gonna jump in there with them. I'm gonna jump in there with them here in a second.
Yeah.
But in a street fight, you just throwing. The police coming soon. Like you got about a minute.
Yeah.
But what point in professionally fighting another man do you see it? Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. Like, when do you know I'm better than him?
I see first round. First round, I know. Either first round, I like, oh, this is gonna be an easy night, or it's like, man, this shit gonna be long. Like you be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to work for this one. Like he gonna work. Like you'll know, like you touch him and he'll throw about 3 back. You like, yeah, it's gonna be a long night for me, man.
This motherfucker been training like me.
Yeah, you better buckle up. This is a good night.
So when you guys go in, I'm sure you, Derek, your camp, you have your game plan, right?
Yeah.
How disciplined do you have to be to not, you see something, you like, this is different, right? How disciplined do you have to be to take that chance and go off script?
I tell Derek, I be like, I see something, he be all right, or he'll ask me, what I see or things like that, or, me and Derek already know, like, we've been training for a long time, so he already know how I'm feeling, if I see something or if I'm going on script and things like that, so he wouldn't just be like, are you doing the wrong thing, or you doing this, doing that? He'll let me go off script because I'm smart enough to make adjustments and make different changes in our game plan. You gotta be like a Ferrari or a Lambo. You gotta have different gears. You can't have the same thing over and over. If you have the same thing over and over, he might get acclimated to your style and then switch it up on you. So you gotta have different game plans. Just you don't know how he's gonna come.
I got 2 questions to wrap it. When we look back at the legacy or the life of Errol Spence, there's going to be one chapter written about everything that happened before October 10th, 2019. That was undefeated, that was a great fighter, could be considered pound for pound best in the world. When we look at the second chapter, which is everything that happens after, where does that take us?
Yeah, I never thought about that. But I feel like, it take people saying, man, no matter what happened, through all his situations, all his trials and errors, things that happened in his life, he always stayed focused, he always stayed close to his family. Even though it got hard, it drew him closer to his kids and his loved ones more than anything. And he always been focused, never been deterred or anything like that. And, he always stayed strong. And, he always battled adversity. And, even if I don't win against adversity every time, I tried. And I gave it my all. So, for me, I feel like, people gonna still say, I'm one of the best fighters in the world. And they gonna say I'm a great. First, it's all about money. I didn't understand that until a few years ago. It's all about money, and then it's all about legacy at the end of the day.
Do you look at it like that? Do you look at your life as pre-accident, post-accident? Because a lot of people do.
A little bit. I feel like my mind frame and things I was doing and things like that, and it changed a lot because I feel like I was going a little bit off script and I was, getting deterred and, making that, wrong turn. And I feel like the crash was a blessing. Like, it's all about looking things in perspective. A lot of people don't look things in perspective. It's just because it's bad, you know, it might be a little bit good in there. And I feel like the crash really, you know, helped save my career and my life.
Wow.
Because it put me back on the right track. It's like, it bumped my head. Hey, get back on the right track, man. You swing a little bit and get me back on the horse. So it got me more, you know, closer to my family. And, you know, it was a time where, you know, I wasn't talking to my sisters like that. And, you know, I wasn't talking to family like that at all, you know. And now, you know, they coming over for dinner sometimes, and, you know, they come over the house, I come over to their house and things like that. So it kind of drew me back closer to, you know, my core.
Well, this is the final question. What about Bud? We ever gonna see it?
Oh, definitely. I feel like I've been telling people, I'm getting a third belt with Ugas. This is the third belt. It's only one more belt to get. so I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You know, every belt I got, I done took from somebody. So this is my third belt I'm gonna go get. So
It's only one more?
It's only one more, and I'm not moving up till I get that fourth belt.
Well, y'all heard it here first, man.
Kept it April 16th on Showtime Pay Per View. I'm putting on a great fight, a great one-sided fight performance in front of my hometown fans. I'm putting on a show. I want everybody to tune in. This is the lead up to the biggest fight in the world that y'all really want to see.
Just one more belt to get after this one. Man, we appreciate you, my dog.
Appreciate you.
That is the one people want to see, boy.
Respect, dog.
Appreciate that, man.
For sure.
Thank you.
All love, baby. Man, big fan, real.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Get my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Get my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the